their business up properly to get grants, get access to capital, and really go out there and build generational wealth. So without further ado, I want to give it up for Miss Joy Hunt. Everybody, make some noise. Unmute everybody, Sunshine. Make sure everybody.
Let's go, family. Let's go.
Miss Joy, I see you sticking and moving on me. I
see you. Joy,
Happy to have you.
Miss Joy, I see you sticking and moving on Instagram.
Hey, y'all. Hey. Okay, y'all ready? Let me unmute. Okay. Are y'all ready?
Hold on.
Okay.
There we go. So look, they said you see the temperature. They ready for you.
Okay, let's go. Let's get it.
So the floor is yours.
Okay. So before I get into what I'm going to talk about for asset protection, I need everyone to put their money hats on. Okay, so I don't care what kind of financial situation you're in right now. I don't care if we don't have our business or we're thinking about starting a business. I don't care if maybe our business is not producing financially what we want it to do. I need everyone to put their money hat on, and I need to know, am I talking to a 7-figure, an 8-figure, or a 9-figure business owner? Okay. So I need you to drop in the chat. Are you a 7, an 8, or a 9-figure business owner? Because multi-million and billion-dollar companies start in college dorm rooms. Okay. Multi-million and billion-dollar companies start in apartments. Multi-million and billion-dollar companies start in garages. So it doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you finish. The issue is when we start our business, we like to start our business based on our certain circumstances. Well, I'm just starting a side hustle, or I'm just trying to get this thing going. So we just kind of throw some stuff together. The problem is, as you're working your business, you're going to grow. And as you're growing, you're not going to know when your business is going to hit. But eventually, if you're working your business, you're going to hit. The problem then becomes, once your business is growing and our foundation is not correct, when we're hit with a lawsuit, when something happens, well, the foundation's not together. So now we're exposing ourselves. We're putting additional financial stress on ourselves. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of what you need to do to properly form your business. So I don't care where we are right now. You are a 7, 8, or 9-figure business CEO. So we're going to start our business as such. So when something hits the fan, we're good. Okay? So step number 1, we are going to form our LLC. We're going to form our LLC. You can form your LLC in the state that you're in. That would be the most simplest place to form your LLC. You can form your LLC in a different state if you want. The biggest misconception about forming our LLC is going to be, if I form it in a state that doesn't have taxes, then I don't have to pay taxes. That is not correct. Taxes are going to be paid wherever the income is earned. Okay, so we can't avoid taxes by forming an LLC elsewhere. That's why I say the simplest step is to form the LLC in the state that you're in. But you are more than welcome to form it somewhere else. If you form your LLC in a different state, or maybe you want to form an anonymous LLC, you don't want some people to know that you own the LLC, so you want to form it in Nevada, Wyoming, New Mexico, or Delaware, that's fine. But you're going to have to do one more step and register that out-of-state LLC in the state that you're in, the state that you're doing business in, as a foreign LLC. All the steps I'm going to be talking about are going to be considered what's called corporate formalities, okay? Things that just need to be done, okay? So we're going to first form our LLC. Now, as we're forming our LLC, we need to, make sure you want to look at your LLC name. I'm going to talk about asset protection and also setting our entity up for funding. There are going to be some high-risk industries that will either limit how much you can get or will deny you funding, okay? Industries like transportation, construction, real estate, CBD, tax preparation, credit repair, car dealership. Having those names in your LLC will flag you as high risk. Banks consider certain industries, depending on how many chargebacks they get, or the frequency that a person in that industry will file bankruptcy, as high risk. If you already have that industry in your name, so if I have a transportation company, my name is Joyce Trucking LLC, leave it alone. Changing the name won't change anything, because when you amend something, the original has to go with the amendment. So when you walk in the bank after you change your name, you have to still bring in the original documentation. So if you already have formed your LLC and we already have credit age, leave it alone, build it out. You can always form another LLC for additional funding. But if you haven't formed your LLC, you want to think about getting a generic name if you're in a high risk industry, okay? I could have Joyce Enterprises. I could have Joyce Holding. I can have J&H, where in my LLC name, you won't know what industry I'm in, okay? So first you want to have our name. The most important part of your LLC is going to be your registered agent. Every year you want to look at who is your registered agent. You are more than welcome to be your own agent, but we want to make sure that the address for the registered agent is a current address. Well, why? If you are going to be hit with a lawsuit, if the state is trying to contact you regarding something regarding your LLC, all mail is going to your registered agent's address. If that's an old address, if maybe it's an old brick and mortar and you moved, maybe you hired a virtual address company to be your registered agent, but you stopped paying them, so they stopped being your registered agent. Maybe it's an old apartment address or an old home address and you moved. Well, it's your responsibility as the CEO of a 7, 8, or 9-figure business to make sure that the state knows exactly where to contact you. If you were to get hit with a lawsuit, they're going to go to that address. Depending on what state you're in, a process server has to go either 3 or 4 times. If you're not there, they can just leave the lawsuit at the door of that address. Depending on the state that you're in, on average, every state is going to say you have 30 days to respond. If you don't respond in those 30 days, then the person who's suing you can get something called a default judgment, which means I win based on the fact that you never answered. Okay, so if we're in the storage facility game, let's just say that someone's mad because they didn't pay their bill, so you sold their stuff, and so they just mad, right? When clients are mad, they gon' file a suit. They uncle, cousin, next door neighbor, Kiki, them happens to be a lawyer, so they have some cheap attorney fees, so they file a lawsuit against you, and they're going to serve you at that registered agent's address. But you moved, you aren't there. Because they left it there, it's going to be deemed as a valid process of service, and so you would have lost that lawsuit because you did not even know you were being sued. Okay, so I tell people, we're going to the 4th quarter. Every year, pull up your articles of organization, look to see what is the address on your registered agent. If it's an old address, if you go to your Secretary of State and file an amendment, you can update that address. Okay. If you don't want your home address listed on your LLC, then you want to look into getting something called a virtual address, not a PO box, not an address at the post office at the post office, not a UPS address. You want to go to a virtual address. It's going to be some commercial property. They're going to have work suites in there. It's going to be a real office space, and you can pay $50 to $80 a month to rent a virtual address. If you're looking for funding, post all this pandemic fraud. Lenders are not giving money to corporate addresses at apartment complex. Lenders are not giving money to corporate headquarters at someone's home. Yes, you can be making $1 million from your home, but every corporation needs to have a headquarters, okay? Is the Walmart headquarters in the home of the owner? It's not, okay? So now that we're running a 7, 8, or 9 figure business, we got to have a headquarters somewhere. If we don't want to have a brick and mortar, that's fine, but we got to at least pay $50-$60 a month to get our virtual address. Okay, so that's going to be the forming of the LLC. Now, once you form the LLC, we got to keep our LLC active. Okay, so keeping your LLC active, depending on your state, you're going to have to either file an annual report, some kind of report saying that, hey, I'm still using my LLC. Some states will require you to pay some kind of annual fee. If you don't file this report, or if you don't file the report and pay the fee, then your state is going to deem your LLC inactive. If your state deems your LLC inactive, then you don't have an LLC. Well, why do I need an LLC? I'm glad you asked. This is you, okay? So you're starting your business. Your business may not have anything, right? Let me lower my little camera. Hey, y'all. Your business has nothing, but you may have some assets, right? You may have a car. You may have a house. You may have some money in the bank. If you don't form your LLC, then you're out here doing business. Your home is doing business. Your car is doing business. Your children's savings account, everyone's doing business, okay? When you form the LLC, it separates you from your business. So if something were to happen with your business and your business were to get sued, you would only lose what the LLC has. You won't lose whatever you personally own. Okay, so if we don't file our annual report, if we don't file, pay the fee, then we no longer have the LLC. So now you're out here doing business, making your home and the money in your bank, all of that at risk. Now, some of us may have multiple businesses, right? So maybe we have a storage unit, and then maybe we also have a restaurant, and maybe you also have an online boutique, okay? A lot of people say, well, I'm going to just form an LLC and get a whole bunch of DBAs, and I'm going to run all my DBAs through my LLC. Okay, well, we don't want to do that, okay? So if I have Joy Storage Unit, right? I've been working with my mail. I'm a mailbox millionaire, I am slanging and banging. My storage unit facilities, are bringing in enough money to pay my mortgage, to pay my car note. It's funding my lifestyle, right? But then I say, I think I want to open up a restaurant. I'm going to do Joy's Barbecue. But my homeboy told me I ain't got to pay that extra $300. I can just give me a DBA and run it through my LLC, right? So now let me add some more stuff, because Joy Storage Unit, I got some money, okay? So here's Joy Storage Unit. But now I'm going to do Joy's Barbecue. So I'm going to add Joy's Barbecue in there. Well, if I don't have a separate LLC, I really just have one big pot of gumbo. Here's the issue. Let's say I'm at Joy's Barbecue. I accidentally left the ribs out overnight. The next day, I still prepared them and served them, and someone got food poisoning and died. They sued me for $2 million and won. I only had $1 million insurance policy, so now the LLC's on the hook for $1 million. Well, they're going to get everything in the LLC because I only have one LLC. So they're going to be able to touch all of Joy's storage unit money because I didn't separate my businesses. So now I can't pay my mortgage. Now I can't pay my car note. Now these kids got to come out of private school. Now I got to tell my wife she got to turn in this luxury car, and now we got to get her a little cash card. Now I'm telling my wife she got to now go to work because I didn't form an LLC, and I'm getting sued over here, and now we arguing Now we not having sex. Now the kids is mad because we got to pull them out of football and cheerleading, okay? I call that the monkeys. So now you're going to have all these monkeys on your neck. The monkey is stress, right? So now, all because you was trying to save $500 and not form that second LLC, you about to lose everything. Because your homeboy told you can get a DBA and run it through, okay? We are running a 7, 8, or 9-figure business. So we are trying to make sure that if something happens in one business, the monkey don't stop the show, okay? So how we should have formed it is, if I have Joy Storage Units here, I'm going to go form me another LLC for Joy's Barbecue. Same scenario. I left the barbecue ribs out, still served them. Person got sick, sued me for $2 million. Only had $1 million policy, so I'm on the hook for $1 million. They only get what Joy's Barbecue LLC has. They can't touch Joy's storage money. Okay? So if I already know a lawsuit's coming on Joy's Barbecue, what am I gonna do? I'm about to go ahead and form another LLC. Joy's Barbecue number 2. I already know that Joy's Barbecue is about to get hit. I already know what's coming. I'm going to go ahead and form Joy's Barbecue number 2. I'm going to switch my POS system, my credit, and I'm going to still run Joy's Barbecue, collect that money, and I'm still functioning. No one's touching my storage money. Yeah, okay, this is going to get hit. Whatever's in here is going to be gone. But I'm still running my businesses. I'm still making money. I'm still paying my bills. My wife is at Target. She can go to Saks and shop. I'm happy at home. This is the importance of setting your foundation up in the beginning. If you wait until the shit hits the fan, it's too late. It's too late. So any business venture that you're going to do, it has to have a separate LLC. Okay? The bank gonna tell you ain't got to do it. Your CPA gonna say you ain't got. Whenever you're talking to an expert, talk to an expert in that industry. You talk to your banker about banking issues, financing, funding. You talk to your CPA about taxes, tax planning. You talk to your business attorney about when the shit hits the fan, how can I minimize my loss? You will lose something. You will get sued in business. Something will happen. I'm not saying you may get sued. I'm not saying you could get sued. I'm saying if you are in business, you will get sued. Now, will you lose the lawsuit? You may not lose the lawsuit, but let me tell you what's going to happen. Employees going to make mistakes, okay? The second you get some money, especially my new money people, and I am speaking from experience, what does new money do? We going to get that car. We going to pull out them bags. We going to be on vacation, turned up, and we're going to post all of this on Instagram to motivate or to stunt, whatever you want to call it, right? When you do all that, what you do is you bring the target right to you. Ooh, they got some money. Ooh, girl, he got that Bentley. Ooh, she got all them Chanel bags. You are bringing the targets to you. You're saying, hey, come sue me. Hey, I got money. If you got hit on the street right now by a man on a bike, are you about to sue them? No, because he don't have no money. But if you happen to be at a light and Puff Daddy's caravan bumped into you, what are you about to do? You about to fall out the street. You about to all of a sudden your neck hurt. Why? Because Puffy, P. Diddy, Love, whatever he's going by today, you know he got some money. And the attorney who you hire for free, because he's like, oh, don't worry about it. I'm going to find the money. So now, because they know you have money, an attorney will work for free to try to comb through all your corporate layers to try to get to the Bentley that you flashing on Instagram, to get to them watches you posted on Instagram. They're trying to get to your assets, okay? So Speaking from experience, you may not want to put all that on the gram. But for asset protection, any kind of business you have, it needs to be a separate LLC. Okay? We are not getting any DBAs. DBA stand for don't be asked out. Okay? So no DBAs. So we got our LLC is going to be active. We're going to have multiple LLCs for every business venture that we're doing. If you have the same business venture but multiple locations, you want a different LLC for every single location. Why? The same reason. If someone slips and falls at your storage unit facility and breaks their neck, they're going to sue you. If you have all your storage units in one entity, they can now touch that. Same thing. Let's just say that you own some rental property, right? You don't want to have your rental property that you own and you don't want to do business in that same LLC. So if I own a rental home outright, if I own a duplex outright, if I'm doing Airbnb on property that I own, if my grandmother gave me a house and I'm leasing it out on Airbnb and I'm owning the asset in the LLC name, but I'm also doing business in the LLC name. So I'm leasing the property in the LLC name to the tenant. Well, same scenario. Tenant falls, breaks her neck. You got an Airbnb, they are turned up, she twerking on the kitchen table, falls and does something, right? They can sue you. Whatever the LLC owns, they can get. So if we own assets, right? If we own the storage unit all the way outright, if you own properties outright and you want to have in your LLC name, that's fine. We want to then have a second LLC. This LLC we can use as a holding company. This will own our assets. So maybe let's say I own a duplex, I own an apartment complex, and I own my storage unit. Okay, so I'm going to hold the assets or own the assets in my holding company. I'm going to form another LLC as my property management company. Okay, so this won't have any assets. So I'm going to lease my duplex from this LLC. I'm going to have my lease agreement with the tenant in this LLC. I'll have a second lease agreement between my holding company and the LLC that's doing business. So this company owns the asset. They're going to have a lease agreement from the holding company to the operating LLC. And then the operating LLC will have another lease agreement with the tenant. So when same scenario, you have a duplex, they had a party, she's twerking on the table, falls, breaks her neck, sues you. They can only get what this LLC has. So whatever cash is in there, you'll lose that, but you won't lose the property. Now, we aren't setting these things up imaginary. We aren't just saying I have a holding company. We're going to form both these entities. We're going to have a lease agreement signed between these two entities. We're going to have a lease agreement signed between the operating LLC and the tenant. And every single month, when the operating LLC collects its rent, it's going to pay whatever was that lease amount to the holding company. All of these transactions got to stick. Why? When you get hit with the lawsuit and you say, hey, I don't own the property, ha, 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 opposing counsel's job is to try to peel back those layers to see, are you really running it like a real business or not? So if you have a lease agreement, let me see the lease agreement. Oh, okay, you made up one the night before and backdated it, cool. Now, next they're going to subpoena the bank statements. Oh, okay, you have a lease agreement? Well, let me see the last 6 months of bank statements to make sure that the holding company actually collected rent from the operating LLC. If we can't show how this holding company actually collected rent, well, then you don't really have, then you really don't have a real holding company or holding company subsidiary situation. You just heard something on YouTube and said that you did something, but it's not for real. Okay, so everything I'm saying on this webinar is we got to actually do it. If you have a lease agreement with Lexus, you got to pay a lease every single month. You got to pay that note. if you don't pay that, no, they're going to come pick up that car. Okay. So if you have this dynamic, every single month, the operating LLC has to be paying the holding company for that lease. Okay. So we have our active LLC, we have our multiple LLCs. If we own any assets outright, same for cars. If you own if you have a title to the car, so you got some cars on Turo. If you own your own personal cars, you personally do not want to be doing business in any asset that you own. Why? Well, what if you hit someone on accident? If you are a person of money, you are a target. So you may want to put your home, you may want to put any kind of vehicles you own in a holding company. So the same scenario works whether it's a business asset or a personal asset. You can use a trust. A trust will be another vehicle for asset protection, right? A trust, though, is going to be a little harder to zig and zag with the assets. So in business, things happen, okay? I may need to move some assets from over here. Oh, I need to get funding, but they want some collateral. I may need to move some stuff over to get some money sometimes. Or I may need to move some things over because something may be coming down the line. I need to move some stuff around, right? When you have an LLC, we can zig and zag a little bit more easier than using a trust. Once you put something in a trust, it's a little harder to get it out of the trust. So if you just have some assets that you want to pass on to your kids and you're not really doing a lot of business, then you may want to talk to an estate planning attorney in your state. It needs to be your state, especially if you have kids, because the succession laws or whatever happens when you die, who gets what, especially if we have kids from multiple marriages or multiple situations, those state laws differ from state to state. So you want to talk to an estate planning attorney in the state that you're in. If you're thinking about this, it may be great to go ahead and pay that money to go ahead and have a consultation. What are they saying? And then, have a consultation with the business attorney. But when you are in business, especially if you're doing a lot of business, you may need to zig and zag with some stuff. So a holding company is kind of easier to move some stuff around. Okay. So the next thing we got to do is we got to have our business bank account, right? And we need to be able to have some kind of way to track our funds. So we need to have a POS system or a point of sale system. You can use Clover, Square, Stripe, PayPal, but PayPal will kind of play with your money sometimes. But you want to use those because you want to be able to track your sales. Once you start making a certain amount of money, and depending on what you look like, banks may not believe you, right? Like, ain't no way you making this, doing that, right? So it's easier when you're, trying to get financing, trying to get a loan, and you bring your bank statements up. It's easier to say, have the banker just sign onto your, Square system, sign onto your Stripe right there on their computer, and then you can print out your report for what your POS system has. And when the two match, it's kind of like, shut up, right? Another reason why you want to have a POS system, you want to have a way to track your sales. You as a business owner need to know how much money are you making? Are we making a profit? Are we losing? What are we doing? When it comes to funding, your business bank account is going to be your business resume. Here is the problem when it comes to a lot of our businesses, especially cash heavy businesses. For some reason, we believe like we ain't got to put all the money in the bank and I'm going to keep some money at home and I'm going to keep the cash and we do all that stuff. But is the CEO of Walmart at the end of the night, is Walmart taking the cash and putting it in their mattress? They're not. They're going to put the money right in the bank. When it comes time for us to get funding, they're going to ask you to print out your last 90 days of bank statements, right? Well, you put that you make $100,000 a month, but your bank statements say that you make $30,000 a month. Well, now we got to come in and say, well, no, see, I got some money at home and let me pull up my Cash App and then they have Venmo me. See, if we're doing business, we got to just do business. Like, It's not a different blueprint for a small business or a big business. Business is business. So when you want to get in this business world, you gotta play that business game. And in the real world or in the business world, you gotta have money in the bank. Whatever money you have on that business bank account, that's what they're going to give you qualification for. Let's just say COVID number 10 comes in and they shut everything down. Well, whatever your bank statement says, that's what you make. So if you are in a cash heavy business, you're doing lashes, nails, barber, hair, massages, whatever, that cash needs to hit the business bank account for you to get credit for it, right? So you made $1,000 today cash and you go to Walmart and you go and buy your groceries. Well, your business doesn't get credit for that. You went to the mall real quick and got you a pair of shoes. Well, your business didn't get credit for it. Now, have you put the money in the bank and then you just do a little wire transfer to your personal account? Well, now the business bank account shows how much the business really made. Another way to pierce the corporate veil or lose your asset protection is by being undercapitalized, meaning you don't have enough money to run your business. So if a lawsuit were to happen, same scenario, someone fell in our storage unit and they're suing us, they're going to pull your last 6 months of bank statements. If there's no money in the bank because you kept all the cash at home, well, then you're going to look like you're undercapitalized, meaning you don't have enough money to pay your business bills. If you're undercapitalized, that's another way to pierce the corporate veil, or for them to say, hey, I know you formed this LLC, but you wasn't running it like an LLC, so we're going to just negate the fact that you even had an LLC. Okay, so you want to make sure, for asset protection reasons, that your business bank account is showing what the business made. For funding reasons, you want to make sure that the business bank account shows what the business made. Since we are 7, 8, and 9-figure CEOs, we understand that when you make money, it costs money to make money. So when you make money at the end of the year, you're writing a check to the IRS. Okay, if you're a 7, 8, or 9-figure business CEO, we're not getting a refund. We're not claiming kids. We ain't breaking even. Right? We are writing a check to the IRS. We just need to have a good CPA with some good tax planning so that the check that we write is as small as possible. But we're writing a check, okay? When it comes to business banking, it's also very important that we are managing our cash flow. Cash flow is the life of the business. It is very hard to manage cash flow in the same account that the income is coming in and expenses coming out. Okay. So what I found is best is to I always suggest you have 4 different business bank accounts. Okay. We're going to have one business account for the income, and all 4 accounts will be at the same bank so we can do our transfers, and it can be real simple. But to manage your cash flow, because if we can't pay our employees on Friday, I've never met an employee that will let me make it to the next pay period. Never. I've never met an employee that said, oh, girl, you are busy. I know you have something going on. Don't worry about it. Just give me next week. I've never met an employee to say that, okay? And I've had hundreds of employees. Haven't met one. If you ain't got that check, oh, it's a wrap, right? So account number 1 is going to be our income account. All the income goes to this account. So if you have any kind of credit card payments, it goes to that account. When you get your cash, you're going to make your deposit in that account. Your second account is going to be your operating account or your expense account, whichever makes you feel better. This account will have a check card to it. This account will have business checks to it. This account, we're going to pay all of our bills out of this account. So depending on your cash flow, you can put the money from the income account to your expense account. You can wire it monthly. So if I know it costs me $10,000 to run my business, pay my employees, pay my rent, all of that, I can wire it on the 1st. Or I could, if my cash flow isn't ready for all that, I can send the money over whenever I'm using the money. So I paid rent, and rent was $4,000. Let me wire $4,000 from my income account to my expense account. right? And you can pay your bills like that. The reason why is when we start writing out checks and we start swiping that card, we want to make sure that we have that money in there, but we want to also make sure if a chargeback hits that we're not throwing things off. So if I have everything coming out of one account, I get hit with a chargeback. Well, what if my rent check bounces? Well, now I got to, cuss and fuss with my landlord as to why my check was late and what had happened was, and we just are looking unorganized and we're not looking like the 7, 8, or 9 figure CEO is looking like. So on that bill account, all expenses are going out. The third account is going to be for payroll if you have employees. Now, when you have employees, number one, you are going to have to start paying payroll taxes. All this, I ain't going to take your taxes out. And we don't want to play with the real alphabet boys. Okay, the real alphabet boys are going to be the I, the R, and the S. They are not to be played with at all. Okay, when it comes to these payroll taxes, we are not trying to play with the real alphabet boys. They're going to make your life a living hell. So when you start having employees, you got to take out something called payroll taxes. If you don't take out the taxes, what's going to happen is when you get audited, you're going to have to pay for your portion and the employee's portion. Here's the problem when you're a nice business owner, right? You have a guy, he gonna work for you. He's saying, hey man, can you pay me underneath the table like right now? That they trying to hit me for my child support and I ain't got it. If you could just pay me as an independent contractor, it'll really help me get through it, right? So you trying to be nice, you pay him as an independent contractor. Then 6 months later, he comes to work late. You talk to him. He don't care about your business, so you fire him. So now he mad. Now he turned up. What is he going to do? He going to go to the state and file unemployment. Well, what's the state going to do once they look you up and say, well, Joy Storage, we haven't gotten the unemployment. No, this person's saying that they work for you as an employee, but we haven't gotten any of our unemployment taxes. Well, he wasn't a real employee. Well, what you mean he wasn't an employee? He said that. So now your state is opening up your records to understand how come they didn't get their money, right? Now, when the state realized that they haven't gotten their money, what you think the state gonna do? The state gonna contact the I, the R, and the S. The problem's gonna be this scenario is gonna happen 3 years ago. So now when the IRS walks in, they realize you haven't paid payroll taxes for 3 years on this employee. Well, how many other employees have you not paid payroll taxes for? Okay. So now you have an IRS agent sitting in your business going through all your records. And once again, what's going to happen? The monkey's going to come. Now, I ain't speaking about nothing that I Googled, right? Everything I'm telling y'all is from a real life experience. I'm old. I've been in the game for 18 years. I'm old, right? So now you stress because this IRS agent is in there. He going through all these records and he telling you not only do you have to pay the portion that you didn't pay from the beginning, you got to pay your employee's portion. Oh, and then now they're going to tack on penalties and interest. So now your wife thought she was getting a new car. Y'all thought y'all was going to have that vacation. You thought you was going to remodel that backyard. You ain't doing none of that. Because now you got to pay the I, the R, and the S. Now they slapping tax liens on. Your credit messed up because you got a tax lien. You got stuff on your house. You got these letters coming. And your wife is turned up like, I didn't sign up for all of this. I thought you knew what you was doing. And now you got to hear all this. No. Oh, she mad. You think you having sex? You think you happy at home? All because you was trying to look out for the homeboy because he owned child support. If you were to walk into Walmart and say, hey, thanks for hiring me, but I got child support. Can you pay me as a 1099? Walmart's going to say no. And they're not going to budge. Okay, so I'm saying all these things and I'm using these analogies for it to hit home. You have to run your business like it's Walmart. Whatever is the policy is the policy. Whatever is the rule is the rule. It is what it is because it's called business. So back to my third account, you're going to have a payroll account, right? And the payroll account is going to be for you to pay your employees. And then when you're paying these payroll taxes, you have to link an account up for the IRS to be able to debit the payroll taxes every 2 weeks. The IRS may make a mistake. Maybe your payroll taxes are for $5,000, but they changed the comma and they took out $50,000, right, on accident. If you have your payroll coming out your main account, that $50,000 may be too much cash taken out and you may not be able to pay your bills. Now, you can get that money back from the IRS because it was their mistake, but have you ever called the IRS before? You're going to be on hold for at least 3 hours, okay? By the time, they get to the proper management, it's going to be at least 14 days. Can your business survive on 14 days missing all that cash flow? 9 out of 10 times, you're not. So when you can't pay your rent, when you can't pay your bills, when you can't pay these employees, baby, you're going to be out of business and it's not even your fault. It's all because the IRS made a mistake. But see, in business, it's our job to protect us because no one's coming to save us. No one's coming to protect us. Another thing, employees will change their check. When you write a check, it's going to have your routing number and your account number on it, right? I've had employees alter the amount of the check. The $1,000 check all of a sudden came to a $10,000 check. I've had employees make up checks, but they're gonna go to payday check. They're gonna go to a check cashing place. They ain't gonna go to the bank and pay. They're gonna go to a check cashing place and cash that check. So now when you have $1,000 check payroll coming as $10,000, that's gonna mess up your cash flow. But if your payroll's coming out of just the payroll account, I would rather it play with the payroll money. Tell all the other employees, hey, old girl over there wrote a fake check. So your check is going to bounce. Tell me how much your return check fee is, and I'll have a cashier's check in the morning for your payroll and the return check fee to go ahead and to pay you for this pay period versus that $10,000 coming out of your income account and it affecting your cash flow. The fourth account you want to have is going to be either a tax/savings account. So on months, and every industry is different, on certain months, you're going to have a high flux of cash. Well, we can't ball out. We can't go on vacation. We can't turn up on the months that we have some high volume because how we have high months, we're also going to have some slow months. So we may need to pull from some kind of reserve to get us through on those slow months. So the 4 accounts will be income account, operating or expense account that will have the check card or the checks connected to it. We're going to have our payroll account, and then we're going to have our tax/savings account. Now, you also want to make sure that we're not commingling funds. So although you own the LLC, you guys are separate. For us to get the protection for us to be separate, we have to run it like we're separate. So we can't pay our mortgage out the business account. We can't pay for our haircut out the business account. We can't get these nails done out the business account. We can't go shopping out the business account. We need to transfer the money from our business account to our personal account, and then we swipe our personal account from there. If you just start using your business check card like a piggy bank, well, then you're no longer separate. Everything is just going to be one. And then when you get hit with a lawsuit, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to subpoena your bank statements. Why? They want to make sure that you're following the corporate formalities. So when I subpoena your bank statements, when I see a mortgage that's not for the business going out, when I see Saks, I see Neiman Marcus, I see Chanel, well, baby, what kind of business has these kind of expenses? When I see Walmart, I see Sam's Club, well, what's this? Oh, you really aren't a real business. You're just one person having two things. I'm going to negate your LLC, and so now your personal assets are at stake. Okay, so you want to make sure that we have our business bank account, we have our point of sale system, and we're not commingling funds. Okay. Now, the next thing we want to make sure is that we have an operating agreement. An operating agreement is going to be a corporate formality. It's going to be a contract that states how the LLC should be ran. Now, anyone on here is going to be screaming S Corp, S Corp, and S Corp is not a business entity, okay? So, business entities are formed at the state level. You can form either an LLC or you can form a C Corp. Either an LLC or a C Corp, they don't have the best tax advantages. You can take your LLC or your C Corp and tell the IRS, hey, I have an LLC or a C Corp, but I want you to tax me as an S Corp. And the IRS was like, sure, I'll tax you as an S Corp. Okay, an S Corp doesn't have to pay self-employment taxes like an LLC has to pay, and an S Corp doesn't have double taxation like a C Corp has. But an S Corp is not a business entity. So if you have LLC at the end of your business name, you are an LLC. You may be an LLC taxed as an S Corp, but you are an LLC. If you are an LLC, then you need to make sure that you have an operating agreement. That's going to state how your LLC is ran. If you don't have an operating agreement, then you're going to default to your state rules. However, if you were to get sued, opposing counsel is going to subpoena your operating agreement. If we don't have one, it looks like you're not running your LLC correctly, and they're going to negate you having an LLC. If you have Corp or Inc. behind your corporate name, then you have a corporation. If you have a corporation, then you need a contract called the bylaws, your bylaw agreement. You need to have this as a corporate formality. So if you were to get sued, we have all of our ducks in a row. Now, the next thing, and probably the most important thing, is going to be insurances, licenses, and permits. Okay, whatever industry you're in, it depends on the state and the industry. Some are going to require you to have some kind of certain license. Some are going to require you to have some kind of permit, but everyone needs to have business insurance. Okay, if you have a brick and mortar or a store location, you want to have insurance for if anyone were to fall on your property. So you want to talk to a commercial insurance agent. And you want to at least have a general liability policy, minimum $1 million. Depending on how many locations you have, you may need to get a larger policy. You need to talk to the commercial insurance agent, tell them all what you have going on with your business, and ask them what is standard for this practice, okay? So you want to have something called a general liability policy. Now, there are additional insurance policies that you will want to have. One, you want to always ask your commercial insurance agent, what are some standard coverages that my industry has? One you want to look into is going to be business loss or business interruption insurance. That states if something were to happen and you can't operate your business, they will pay you as to why your business is shut down. Okay, so let's just say, let's just say a big old accident happened at your storage facility, right? A big old semi-diesel truck came in and it crashed into your building, and you had to, you were shut down for 3 months as you tried to remodel to get everything back open. Well, your business is now shut down for 3 months. If you had business interruption insurance, the insurance company will cut you a check for the 3 months that you were closed. But you got to have tax returns to show how much income you normally made. But you got to have some financials. You got to have a profit and loss statement. So, okay, last year in August, you made X amount and you got shut down this August. Bam, here's your check for August. September, how much did you make in September? Let me see your financials. Let me see your tax return. Bam, here you go. But when you want to put the kitchen sink on your tax return, you making money, but I don't want to pay the IRS. I don't want to have no tax debt. Well, now when it's time to benefit from being a business, they're looking like, well, your business doesn't make any money. So you made nothing in September, so we'll pay you nothing, right? When you are a 7, 8, or 9-figure business owner, we are playing the business rules and we're okay writing a check. Writing a check means you're making money. No matter what business you're in, no one makes 100%. Okay? Nobody makes 100%. You have expenses. It's just part of the game. Okay, so you want to look into either business interruption or business loss insurance. Of course, post this pandemic, they have pandemic insurance. If COVID number 10 came in, they will cut you a check for the pandemic insurance. I want to say it was the U.S. Open had pandemic insurance. You know, the U.S. Open didn't go on. I think in 2020 they got a check. They wasn't tripping that Serena and them wasn't there. Okay, so insurance protects you in case something happens. These don't come into play. Okay, so if your storage facility is shut down for 3 months, what's coming? These monkeys is coming back. We don't want the monkeys. We want to be able to have our store facility shut down. We got the check from the insurance company. At night, we sleeping. On the weekends, we at our kids' football game. We at the birthday party. We having fun. Life is still going on as life is lifing because we set up everything correctly in the beginning. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be the cheapest format. I'm not saying it's going to be the easiest thing to do. I'm not saying that someone else is going to say you ain't got to do all of this. All I'm saying is when life hits you, if you don't want to have additional stress, I'm trying to protect you so that this is not around your neck, choking you. Now we can't sleep. Now we can't eat. When you can't sleep, when you can't eat, when you can't function, now we can't be creative. Now we can't think of new business ideas. Now we can't think about new collaboration because we're so worried about holding on to what we may lose, all because, well, I didn't know about insurance and I didn't know about this. Well, I'm telling y'all everything of what y'all need to have. Now, the next thing you want to make sure that you have is proper financials, okay? The financials you need are going to be a profit and loss statement. You're going to need a balance sheet. We're going to need these bank statements reconciled, okay? Once you start making money, so if we're at least 6 figures a year profit, we are past TurboTax. We are past H&R Block. We are past Keisha and them at the tax prep service, no shade. You need to have an accountant. It's a person who has a college degree in accounting. Or you need to have a CPA. That's someone who has a college degree in accounting and they took a CPA exam test. You need to have professionals. Number one, they need to be able to do your books, provide you with a profit and loss statement every single month to tell you you're making money or you're losing money. If you're losing money, why are you losing money? Do you not have enough sales? Are you bleeding somewhere? Is there some kind of employee theft? Are people not paying their bills? Why are we bleeding? As a business, you can only bleed for so long, okay? Maybe I have 3 locations and one location is not making money. You need to know which one is not making money. You need to know why. You need to know last month versus this month, which one, what is the issue? Where am I a mess? The CEO is looking at the P&L statement. That's what's telling you how your business is doing. The problem is the more money you make, when these bills are on auto pay, when life is just great, that is the easiest way to have employee theft because ain't nothing missing that you're worried about. Because at some point in time in your business, we're all 7, 8, or 9 figure business owners. You're going to make so much money that paying your bills ain't an issue. When you on the hamster wheel, when you robbing Peter to pay Paul, you know when $5 is missing, you know where it's missing. But when these bills on auto pay, when money isn't an issue, you're not looking at the $5. You're not looking at the $10. And that's where employee theft comes. I'm not speaking from what I'm Googling. I'm telling you from experience. And if you get a smart person, a thief steals small. It's going to be small, but it's going to be consistent. An inexperienced thief going to try to take $5,000. Well, you're going to see $5,000, but are you going to see 500? Are you going to see 150? If I take 150 though, every single day from every location over X amount of time, I'm getting over on you. And then once I get that 150, I'm going to change to 500. I'm going to up the numbers because I see that you're not even paying attention. And then once I see you're not paying attention, I'm about to go run a whole game on you. And then by the time you realize something going on, by the time, a bell finally rings off, you've been getting got for the past 3 years. Or maybe we have 3 locations, but one is bleeding. One is not making any money, but you are making so much money, you don't feel the bleed. You're not looking at your numbers, so you don't know one is just losing money. This business needs to be shut down because it's not turning a profit, but we're carrying it. We're able to pay all the bills because money isn't an issue. But this one is just dragging and dragging and dragging and dragging. Well, it's messing with their cash flow. You need to know the numbers so that if one is bleeding, well, let me put some attention to it. Why is it bleeding? What's the issue? Can I revive it? If I can't revive it, I need to let this go. Let me go ahead and sell it. Let me go ahead and get rid of it because this one's not working for what I have going on. But if you carry the bleed for too long, you are losing your cash flow. Then it's time to hop up on another opportunity. Someone come with you with something else. Well, now all of a sudden your cash flow ain't what it should be. Okay, so you want to make sure we have a CPA or an accountant, not Keisha in them, and they need to be giving you a profit and loss statement and a balance sheet every single month so you can read that and understand what it is that your business is doing. Are we increasing our profits? Are we losing money? What are we doing? Now, we need to have some contracts in place, right? So if you have a partnership or if you have investors, that can be carried in your operating agreement as to how are we splitting the profit. Are we 50-50? Are we 60-40? Any kind of contract you enter into needs to have a termination clause. If we just don't mix, if we just don't fit, how do we get out of this? Okay, what are the terms? How can I say, hey, I don't want to be in this no more. This ain't fitting. What does that look like? Every business owner needs to have an NDA or a non-disclosure agreement. If you are talking to someone about a business idea, if you're running something by someone, you don't want them to take your idea and steal it, okay? Especially if you're the person that doesn't have the money. If you have the idea but not the money, you are the person who needs to be protected because the person with the money doesn't need you once they get your idea. You may have heard of Kimojis. Maybe about 5 years ago, Kim Kardashian had her own little emojis called Kimoji. It was real popular, but Kim didn't come up with the idea. Some guy came up with the idea, had a meeting with Kim, had sketches drawn out and said, hey, Kim, you should turn yourself into some emojis. Emojis are popular to be fun, blah, blah, blah. What did Kim say? Thanks. Went and trademarked Kimojis and did it without him. Well, he's mad. She doing bad business. In these business streets, it's grimy out here. It's eat or get eaten. It's kill or be killed. People aren't polite in here. Yes, there are scammers. It's called business, okay? So don't come over here thinking it's going to be lollipops and, purple unicorns and chocolate strawberries. That's not what this is. Had he had a non-disclosure agreement, and she X'd him out the deal, he could have then sued her and got the profits from Kimoji. Okay, so if you're going to discuss maybe a partnership opportunity, a job opportunity, a business idea, you want to have a non-disclosure agreement and have the person sign up before we start discussing the ins and outs. So they don't just take your idea and run with it. Last but not least, to protect yourself, if you want to protect your name or your logo, you want to get a trademark, okay? A trademark is going to run you about $3,000. It's going to take you about a year to get. The LLC will protect your name in the state that you're in. A trademark is going to protect your name in the US of A, okay? So if I have Joy Storage Unit, I want to file a trademark so that no one else can use the name Joy Storage Unit. Now, if you're going to have a logo made for your company, if you're going to have some photos taken, if you have a videographer doing videos for you, in the copyright world, whoever creates the content owns it, okay? So although you pay your graphic designer $500 for your logo or to take these photos, your graphic designer still owns the content. You don't own them. For this reason, you need something called a copyright transfer agreement. I have a template on my website. You want to have them sign this before you pay them. So you're getting a logo made. Hey, please sign this, before I pay you. You're having some pictures taken. Have them sign that before you pay them for the photos. You're getting some video, a person gonna come and, video your storage unit, to do like a little promo thing. Have them sign the copyright transfer agreement. When you are first starting out, you don't think that you're a real 7, 8, or 9 figure business. You're just trying to get this bad boy going, right? Eventually, you're going to hit. There's a case out in Atlanta, Georgia, called Sweetwater Brewery. Sweetwater Brewery is a beer company. It started 30 years ago. They had a family friend design their logo, and they paid them $500, okay? 30 years later, Sweetwater Brewery sold for $300 million. Well, what do you think the family friend did? What all family and friends do in business, right? They sue them. They sued them for $30 million, saying, hey, we made the logo, so we still own the logo, okay? A logo has value called goodwill. If you're driving down the street and you see those golden arches, you know it's McDonald's without even seeing the word McDonald's. Okay, so your logo has goodwill. Therefore, before we do any business with anyone, we want to make sure that they sign the copyright transfer agreement. So your videographer, your graphic designer, you want them to sign over their rights so that when you pay them, you own it. You want to make sure that you own everything that is yours, because once you start making money, now all of a sudden things change. Okay, that friend who's your best friend, y'all done shot marbles together, is going to change once the money comes. Your cousin, little Kiki and them, y'all grew up together. They gonna change once the money comes. Okay, it is what it is. So just protect yourself in the beginning, so when things do change, you're good and we don't have the monkeys on our neck. I think that is it for my notes. Do we have any questions?
Hold on. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Jess, bring me up here, Jess. I need them to unmute. For this one. Where we at, Jess? Bring me up here. There we go. All right, I need you to unmute. If y'all feel like this is valuable information, y'all feel like this was some games.
What?
Gotta unmute. Make some noise.
Well, thank you.
She beautiful.
Real
Q&A. Before we get to the Q&A, I want you to drop your Instagram so everybody can follow you. If you're not following Joy, I want you to definitely go follow. Matter of fact, I think I got the Instagram. Jess, I'll send it to you, Jess, and then you could just drop her Instagram for everybody to go follow her if they're not following. So y'all can stay tapped in. So I'll send it to you, Jess, and you can drop it in the chat. But perfect. We're gonna get to Q&A because we want to be very, very respectful of our time.
So we'll jump right into Q&A. Please be very precise with your questions. Don't come up here with 3 minutes. You get right to your question. We're not, you know what I mean? Don't talk about your baby daddy, your baby mom, and this person got hit by a car, and now you stuck. I don't like straight to the questions. All right? Can we be cool with that? That's cool. Put cool in the chat. If we got it, put cool in the chat. All right, perfect. First up, we got Lauren. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did. All right. Always, Mogul. Real quick, straight to the point on the questions. I got 3 of them. I'm gonna rattle them off real quickly to you. DBA. So on the DBA, on the articles of organization, what if you list your main company as the statutory agents, and then all your other companies? I mean, on the article of organization. Sorry, on the articles of organization, you establish your main company, and then on your other 2 or 3, you list that entity as the statutory agent. Does that cause any trouble or anything with all the glasses and like the DBA situation does? That's the first question. The second question was with the 1099 employees. If you do have,
hold on. Let's get that first question answered first, and then let's get to the second one.
It's better for your registered agent to be a person if it's gonna be you. Unless you hire a registered agent company, because you want them to have to be able to hand it, like you want the process server to have to come find you. Okay, if it's a business and it's not, like if it's your business, well then they can give it with the secretary. What if she doesn't give it to you, right? Like a $10 hour employee, doesn't really know what she's getting. So you want to make sure that when they come to your business, they're asking for you.
What's your second question?
Second one was the 1099 employee. What if you are paying a contractor? I have 2 caregivers that I pay to attend to my mother. My company is a senior care service. So is there any concern with that as far as what you listed before with the individuals coming back and you finding yourself in trouble with the IRS?
Google the IRS. IRS has a 31-factor quiz as to whether a person is a 1099 or an employee. So if the caregiver only works for you, then they're probably an employee. If the caregiver works for you and other people, if the caregiver brings their own supplies, if the caregiver is not getting any training from you, if the caregiver has her own business and you're just one of her clients, then she's an independent contractor. An employee only works for one person. They get training from them. They have their supplies provided from them. They may wear a uniform for the business. So there's different factors that the IRS uses to determine if you're an employee or if you're an independent contractor.
Thank you. And this is the last one real quickly. Talked about commingling funds. Now, I barely just learned about commingling funds. I'll be first one to say that I've done everything that you listed on the don't list. So is there a way to retroactively fix that situation, or do you just have to fix it now and hope for the best?
There's not a way to retroactively fix it. I would say just fix it and move on. If you maybe as you fix it and move on, if you make a mistake, reimburse the entity. So if I left my personal check card at home, I swiped out my business card for a Walmart expenses, document it. So make like a reimbursement form, and your personal account needs to write a check to the business account for whatever that expense was. Have the check number on there in a form, and then file that form with your corporate documents. So when you get audited 4 years later, right, you're not going to remember that transaction. If you were to get audited 4 years later, I always like to prepare your case for if something were to happen. You can then pull up your reimbursement file. Oh, on this date, I reimbursed myself. Boom, boom, boom. So you have like a paper trail of you reimbursing yourself. But just start from now on. Just carry it. Run everything correctly. Stop the commingling. If you do make a mistake, just document it on like a reimbursement form, but have a paper trail showing how your personal account reimbursed the business for that swipe.
Thank you. You did an excellent job. Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect. All right, next up, Ruby, what's up?
Blessings. Hello, Queen Joy. I see you, Divine Nine family in the background. Okay,
Hey, how you doing?
Big Poodle, you know the
Okay.
All right, so quick questions, right? I know you mentioned the copyright transfer agreement. Is a work for hire agreement equally protecting or for that footage, that content that pressing play?
If you have a work for hire agreement, make sure that you have a copyright transfer clause in the work for hire agreement. So you can have a clause in your work for hire that states any content that the independent contractor makes for the business is they transfer their copyright interest in that product to the business.
Got it. Okay, perfect. And then in regards, I just dropped my first ever TV show, right?
Okay.
And so I really wanted to know, yes, it's lit.
Congratulations.
I wanted to know what's the best way to protect it. I was going back and forth with Legal Shield, still didn't have no one to speak to as of yet, but reading up on copyrights and then knowing the difference if we should reach out to the the WGA, the Writers Corporation, to protect the idea. Like, I just essentially don't know how to protect the actual idea or the actual TV show, once Tyler Perry pick it up and it become on BET.
Come on, speaking into existence. The idea, is it a unique idea?
Yeah, so it's a TV show based off of 7 executives that come together to basically beat and defy all odds of business relationships, and we do that by putting together a charity event and an annual business ceremony, and then we documented the whole process. So it was 1 season, 10 episodes, and yeah, it starts this Friday. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat, y'all.
Okay. I don't know if that idea is unique enough to be protected. Like for example, I don't know how old you are, but have you ever heard of the show called the Real World from MTV?
Yeah.
Okay. So they were the first people to do a reality TV show where I have a camera following around people in real life. It's not scripted. That was like a new form of TV. So that concept was able to be patented. So anyone that has a reality TV show now has to cut MTV a check because they came up with the concept of reality TV. Just because you have a show idea, it's not like anything that's new. Now, you can protect the name of the show by trademarking it.
Okay, perfect. So trademarked by the name. And then lastly, with those 7 executives, right, as we put on our charity event and then our annual event, should I have a nonprofit separate for the charity event and then have a separate LLC for everything else that we do collect funds for? Or should I just do it all under one LLC and then have each one of the executives a percentage of it?
If you're trying to give something to charity, either you can have your own nonprofit or you can say a portion of the proceeds will go to blah, blah, blah charity, and you can just pick whatever charity you want to donate the funds to. But if you want to have your own nonprofit, you would form your own nonprofit and have your business, and the business can donate to your own charity. A nonprofit is going to be an LLC or a corporation, and a nonprofit, similar to an S corp, it's a tax election. So you would form your LLC or corporation, and then you would ask the IRS to please tax you as a as a nonprofit. You got to submit some stuff to the IRS showing what you're doing, how you give back, blah blah blah, to get that nonprofit tax status.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Big D9 in the building.
Come on.
All right, let's get it. Arthur, what's up, Arthur?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we get
Hi,
it.
Arthur.
Hold on. Unmute.
You got me?
There you go.
Woo! Man, first and foremost, man, thank you so much for pulling this beautiful, intelligent queen out here. I can listen to this sister talk all night. I got her Instagram on my computer. Y'all see this right here? I'm looking at it right now. I kid you not. So thank you so much. I mean, it's an honor. So I'll get to my question, all right?
Okay.
I know a lot of people got questions. But man, I got so many notes. This is what I want to know. When you say keep the LLC separate, right? When you was explaining about having an Airbnb or having like duplex, triplex, whatever. When you were explaining that, were you saying to have an LLC for like each apartment, if you had like duplexes or triplexes, or Airbnb have one for each room in the house? Is that what you were saying?
No. Okay. If you own the property outright, meaning you have the deed,
Right.
that means you own it. If you have a mortgage on a property, you don't have to worry about it, because if you were to get sued and someone would try to take your property, the bank gonna step in. So Bank of America say, hey, hold on, Arthur don't own this yet, we own it. So you won't lose it if you have a mortgage on it. If you own the property outright, you want to own it in a separate entity than the one that you're doing business in.
Okay.
The simplest thing, let's just say that you own 2 duplexes. You could put the 2 duplexes in one holding company, and then we're doing business in one that doesn't have assets.
Okay. Got you.
Okay.
Got you. I completely understand. Thank you so much. I was
welcome.
going to ask you to explain that portion a little bit more as well, when you were talking about having an LLC for property management for the tenants. And then you were saying LLC as a holding company for the lease. Could you just drop a little bit more knowledge on that again?
So if I own my properties in Joy Holdings Company, right? But then I'm also leasing them out, and on the lease is going to be tenant and Joyce Holding. If my tenant falls and breaks their neck, well, they're going to sue Joyce Holding. And they can get whatever is in Joyce Holding.
Okay.
So they'll get the property. So I don't want that. So I'm going to have Joyce Holding. It's not going to be linked to no other LLC. A holding company does nothing but own the assets. I'm not entering into contracts. I'm not financing. I'm not building business credit. I'm doing nothing. I want no one to know about this but me. Okay. I then have another LLC that will be doing the property management, will be running my thing. So I'll have my lease agreement in this LLC name. I'm going to collect the rent in this LLC name and put in this is the one that the tenant knows of. So when the tenant sues me, they only get what's in this. Nobody knows what's over here. So we're doing business in this LLC.
Yes, ma'am. Got you. Thank you so much. Thank you again. I'm going to be watching you. I promise you, following you. So I'll let everybody get to their question. I'm on this. Thank you so much.
All right. No problem, Arthur.
Have a good night.
Let's get it. This is some game, y'all. I hope y'all picking up what she putting down. Because, you know, what happens is, and I am, when I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking from experience of, I fell victim to this, right? Like, jumping into business, making money, don't have nothing trademarked. Right, I had to change. Before this, I had Mogul Foundation, it was a nonprofit, and then somebody else seen what I was doing online, went and got the name, trademarked it, and was trying to charge me to get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, then I had to switch lanes. So these are the things that people do. You know, I had LLCs and properties and not having all my stuff in order, right? Money going here, money going there, just, you know. And then once you get to a certain point where I'm making a lot of money, now it's hard for me to go and dig back and figure everything else out. Now it's just a worse like mess. You know what I'm saying? So this is very, very valuable. I just wanted to make sure everybody understand this, because if we build it out the right way in the beginning, it's just gonna make it easier for us going forward, because we're all millionaires, right? You know that. Just the money probably not in the account yet, but it will be. All right. All right, Ruthie, what's up, Ruthie? Talk to us. Hold up. Yeah.
Okay, I may have this thing. Oh, God. Hold on one second. Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Okay. I may have the same question the last gentleman has. I just kind of want clarification because I think that I'm having that issue now. So I have 2 rental properties. One is in my personal name. The other one is in my business name. I put it in that business name because I was in the middle of the loan and I know I wasn't going to have time for the LLC and I was just trying to, get it closed. So that, the one in my business name is actually my real estate business because I'm a realtor. So I knew that was not a good idea when I did that, right? If I'm not mistaken, and it's a mortgage on, let's start with the one that is in the LLC that is my real estate business name. That house should be, are you saying that house should be in a holding company? And then can you tell me how to structure that? Like, should I transfer that to another name or put it in a holding company and then...
Is there a mortgage on it?
Yes, it is.
If there's a mortgage on it, you can't move it because you don't own it. The bank owns it. So if there's a mortgage on it, no one can take it from you because it's not yours. So we don't have to worry about separating it because it's not ours. Like if I got in a car accident, they can't come take your car because I don't own your car. So once you pay the mortgage off and you have the deed, now we need to protect it because now you can lose it. As long as there's a mortgage on it, you can't lose the property.
I guess what my issue is because it's in an LLC, which is the name of my real estate business. Is there a way now that can I do something about it now to separate it? And like say if a guest falls, should I put, I'm kind of confused how I'm trying to ask it. Should I write a separate lease for that house to be leased to another company?
You can do that. It'd be the same thing. So so the mortgage is in your LLC name?
Yes.
Okay, so
the house. Yeah, the house.
Okay, the house. Okay. So same scenario. So this will be your real estate LLC that has the mortgage for the house.
Mm-hmm.
It's in your name. You'll have a separate LLC that you're going to have running the managing the rental property. This LLC will be on the lease with the tenant. This LLC will collect the monthly mortgage or the rent from the tenant. So let's just say your mortgage is $500 and you charge $1,000 to your tenant. The property management LLC will collect the $1,000. There will be a lease agreement between your LLC and the property management company. Every month, they're going to send you $500 to cover the mortgage, and you pay the mortgage, and then it will still have an additional $500 from that $1,000. So you're paying your insurance, your bills, whatever. So we're just changing it from the holding company, but it's the same setup.
Okay, I see. Like a property management company. Like
correct.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. Sierra, what's up? Hold up. Jess, you got to unmute it, Jess.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Now we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Good evening, Joy.
Hi.
I loved everything you talked about tonight. Appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
So I have a very quick question. So let's say you and I are buying a property together, right? We're getting an investment property. It's a joint venture.
Mm-hmm.
So do we both put it into our trust if we both have trust? Or do we have to decide who's going to keep it in their trust or if we're going to have the same instructions? So if we both want to continue owning the property and not necessarily buy each other out, like what would that look like?
You're going to buy the property outright?
Yes.
So then you probably would want to do a joint venture. So either you and your partner can be on an LLC together and then that LLC owns the property, or you can have an LLC and your partner can have an LLC, and those two LLCs come together. So it's kind of like a divorce. It may be easier to pull away if it's the two entities versus y'all personally, but you guys would just come together either personally into one LLC or have two entities come together as one LLC, and then it's y'all together own it. So it will be in an entity's name, and that's where it would be. You guys would decide, are y'all 50-50? In your operating agreement, y'all are 50-50 or 60-40. What is the ownership percentage?
Yeah, sorry, I should have clarified. So if it is in an LLC, but I have a trust, let's say you have a trust, then would it be able to go into either of our trusts?
Well, we can't split the baby. So
right, that's what I'm trying to understand. Yeah, what would that look like?
Well, I don't think your partner wants it to go in your trust because then now you own it. And she put half up. And I don't think you want her to put it in her trust because now she owns it. So unless y'all going to go get a trust together, but it would probably just need to remain in an LLC that you guys own together because we can't split the baby.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. Dr. Embers.
Let me unmute. Hey, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
I am fine, thank you. I've been following you for a while. I just love you.
Oh,
I did not know
you.
Being on here tonight, I was
Well,
like,
hey,
God.
girl, hey.
Don't mean I've done everything, but I'm about to do it. But anyway, let me move on. Quickly, are you familiar with UAs?
No. What's
Unincorporated Associations?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I have a UA, which is an unincorporated nonprofit association. It's more like a blind trust.
Okay.
So, like, I put my real estate property in it, and then when I sold it, I didn't have to pay capital gains tax.
Okay.
So, what we're doing now, my question was, since we're trying to get funding to buy properties and things like that, I'm trying to figure out, do I really need to have an LLC? Because I have a couple of UAs, because it's more protection for me so far as paying taxes, because I don't necessarily have to pay taxes with the UA. So that's why I asked first off the bat, are you familiar with the UA? Because I'm just trying to figure out, do I need to really set up an LLC? Can I just, because I have business bank accounts and all of that with the UA. So a lot of people are not familiar with it because it's private. It's not something that the IRS knows about.
Okay. The only issue is if you're looking to get funding, that is considered like a contract. So you're entering into a contract with the bank. So I would just suggest that you do get an LLC, because if you were to default on that loan, they would be able to take whatever the UA has. And if you have property in the UA, well, now we're about to, now we're putting that at risk. So just to kind of keep an extra layer, I like to have layers of, I forgot to throw my sweaters on for the layers of protection. You want to have layers of protection. I done messed up my whole precinct. I forgot my sweaters. You want to have layers of protection around you so that, we are protecting our assets. So for that reason, I would not do financing with a entity that owns assets. Because if you were to default on the loan, they would then get the asset.
Okay. Because my big thing is that it's not in my name. It's like a holding company. So that was why I'm asking that. I mean, I know the LLC is not in your name as well as in your business name, but you know how you try not to have things in your name. So when people sue you, they're not suing you.
Right.
Right. So that was why I'm asking. But
okay.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. So let me just have more so I can just get more money and keep it moving.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you so
You're welcome.
very much.
All right, perfect. Teresa.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Teresa.
Thank you so much, Joy Mogul, and for setting this up, because it's exactly what.
Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
What about now?
There you go.
Okay. Well, thank you, Joy and Mogul. This is exactly what I needed because I had questions on the HOCO. So Joy straightened me out on that. But my question now is, obviously, we've started this process. I did not have business credit when we started this process. So there are some things that I'm putting in place now that are just going to my personal credit cards, but that are legitimate business expenses. Is there a way to transition those items to business expenses retroactively?
So you're paying a business expense with your personal credit card?
Yeah, so like right now, setting up the LLCs, getting the registered agents, I don't yet have like a business credit card. There's just one card that I'm using for all of those startup costs. And I just didn't know, like once I get the business in place, can I still claim those startup costs as part of the business expense?
You can. It will be claimed on your, okay. So when you're an LLC, the LLC is going to be filed on your personal tax return on a Schedule C. So any expense that you paid from your personal account, you'll just have an additional Schedule C. So you're like functioning as a sole proprietor. So you as a sole proprietor pay these expenses, and then once you have your LLC formed, it'll fall under the Schedule C. So you'll have like 2 Schedule C. So at the end of the day, they'll still fall. But what you should be doing is we should be you could put personal money into your business bank account. You want to document that on either a capital contribution agreement or an LLC loan agreement. I have an LLC kit on my website. So if you so either you're starting up money or maybe the business is slow this month, you got to put some money in your business account. A capital contribution agreement means I'm putting money in my business account from my personal account, but I don't need the money back. An LLC loan agreement is saying I'm putting the money in my business account, but once the business starts making money, I want to get that money back. We're going to give either the capital contribution or the LLC loan agreement to our CPA at the end of the year. So when he's looking at our bank statement, maybe we have 20 grand of income in the account, but 10 of that came from my personal account to my business account. He knows from the capital contribution agreement or the LLC loan agreement to take that $10,000 out, and you're only going to calculate taxes on the 10, not on the full 20. So it's a way to put the money into your account without having to pay taxes on it.
Amazing. And definitely this information, I want to make it very clear. Those of you who's looking to go buy apartment buildings, who's looking to go buy a self-storage facility, put me in the chat if that's what you're looking to do. All right, everybody saying me. If you do not follow these instructions, you will not be able to buy an apartment building or self-storage. It won't happen. So if you're trying to skip steps, don't do it. I'm going to tell you why, right? Because when you go and you apply for the SBA loans, right? Yeah, the 10% down, all that cool stuff. But guess what? What comes with 10% down? They want to draw blood from you. They want to see all the paperwork. They want to see the financials. They want to see the documentation. They want to cross-reference, right? So if you commingling, okay, you just put this amount of money in this account. Well, let me see that account now and track those expenses. Next thing you know, they're looking at 6, 7, 10 different accounts because they're tracking every single thing. So that's why we want to have clean financials. We want to have all these documents. We want to put these agreements in place. Ask me how. I say, how you know this, Bobo?
How you know this, Bobo?
Because I didn't been through it. Right? I didn't know no better, right? And next thing you know, they drawing blood from me going through every LLC because I took money from one LLC. I opened up a new LLC to go buy a new facility, but I took money from one LLC to put it in a new LLC because the new LLC don't have money yet, right? Okay, well, you got money. You took money from that LLC now. Let me see those LLC documents over there. Oh, wait, let me see the next. And then now next thing you know, you giving out documents for 6 months straight, right? And you don't want to be that way. So you want to have everything organized. You want to have it in place. And this is not cheap. I'm just gonna let y'all know now. But if you want to be set up for success, you cannot be cheap. It costs money to make money. You have to pay the experts. I'm not an organized person. To be honest with you. I'm a bigger picture guy. Like I'm about, I see the vision, I'm gonna get it. All that stuff in between, I pay my team to do. I pay them good money to figure that out because I don't got time for it, right? So you gotta ask yourself, are you the person that want to go through that process and get all these things in place? Or do you just want to get the expert to actually take care of that, right? Because you're not going to get to that level that you want to get to without this information. This is the reason why I brought Joy here today, because I know that the information that she's bringing today is literally more than $1 million worth of game. This is like $1 trillion worth of game, because you can make $1 trillion and lose it all off of one missing piece. One missing piece. Ask me how I know. Say, how you know, Mogul?
How you know, Mogul?
Because I done been through it. But I ain't lose it all. But I remember I got sued because, and this was like some crazy stuff, but basically I had hired some contractors, right, to go and put a new roof on one of my buildings. Those contractors went and subcontracted out to another contractor, right, to go do the job. Those contractors that subbed it out didn't pay that guy the way he was supposed to be paid. But guess what? It was my roof.
Right.
And I didn't have a contract with these. Like, it's just so much that goes into it. But I'm responsible for it. So now I gotta, because guess what? I own the building. It's my roof, even though there's a bunch of negligence in between for other people, because I didn't protect myself and put the things in place. I gotta be responsible for it. And you'll be surprised. As a business owner, a lot of your lawsuits and issues will come from other people.
Right.
Because they don't get shit. They don't have the same responsibility that you have.
Right.
Your employees, your team, all this stuff is probably won't be you. It's gonna be somebody else. But because you're the boss, it's your responsibility.
Yeah.
All right. So I just had to go on that little quick rant. My bad. All right, Davina. What's up, Davina? Talk to us.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hi.
Hi, I do follow you. I've been following you for a while. I thank you so much for this evening. It was oodles of information that's valuable. My question is, you spoke on inactive LLCs. I do have an inactive LLC. I just realized it, but I had a partner that's deceased, and I was looking to restructure it. Is it worth restructuring, or should I just go with a new LLC?
How old is the LLC?
2018 is when it was originally established.
How much is it going to cost to reactivate it?
That I don't know yet.
Contact the Secretary of State. They'll tell you how much are the fees, but 18, 19. That you have 5 years of age. I wouldn't just throw it away unless the fee was something like $10,000. If it's a couple $100, even $1,000, I think it's worth saving it because of the corporate age.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was my biggest question. Everything else, pretty much everybody has touched on or whatnot. So, but thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Perfect. All right. Levon Zell. There you go. She's like, oh, me. There we go.
Hello, Joy. Girl, you dropped us with so much information. I ain't gonna remember everything. I couldn't write fast enough. I got 3 quick questions.
Okay.
If we have multiple LLCs, do we need to get a different phone number and address for all of them, or could we use the same address and phone number for all of them?
You can use the same address because you can have like a corporate headquarters that has multiple businesses in them. I would just say if you have the same phone number, like how are you answering the phone? Like what business name would you be saying when you answer the phone? So I would at least have different phone numbers, for the different businesses.
Okay. So let me jump into that, right? You want to have separate phone numbers, period. Okay. This is what happened to me. Again, like I'm paying for mentorship because I've been through it. I went for funding one time, and I was getting a merchant account set up. So when you know, the point of sale system that Joy said, you get like when you having like large amounts of money, right? So it's one thing to have a merchant account and you making $500, $1,000. But when you start making 100,000, 200,000, $1 million, 2 million, now you have to upgrade to higher quality merchant accounts, right? What happens is these companies, they're gonna call your business line and they want to see who picks up the phone and what company they're saying. So if it says one company and not the other, that's confusing now. So anything that confuses the bank or any type of institution you're working with is a problem. Everything in your business should be straightforward to the point. Because once they start asking questions and digging in, now we got now it's a mess. You know what I'm saying? So I would tell you, definitely have different phone numbers for sure for each business.
Okay. My next question. You were saying we needed to have a general liability insurance. Do we need to get that now? Even we just opened up our LLC, we need to get that now.
Do you have a location?
What do you mean, an address?
Do you have an actual business location? A general liability is going to be like for like a brick and mortar location that you have for your business.
Oh no, I don't have a location.
Okay, so if you don't have a location yet, then you don't need a general liability policy yet.
Oh, okay. So when I get a location, I need
Correct.
Okay. Last question. Girl, are you for hire?
I do consultations. You can go to my website and book me. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's your website?
The Firm CD. I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
The Firm
Appreciate
CD Group.
Drop in the chat and then just you can repost it, in the chat so multiple times it'll go fast. Then you can drop it and then we're gonna keep dropping it for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's very informative. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, perfect.
I lost.
Perfect. Well, we'll get it to you. We got you. We'll get it to you.
Okay.
But I'll drop it in the Telegram as well and in the Facebook group. So you get it. But it's in the chat.
All right, great.
Tifa, what's up?
Hi, good night, family. And thank you, Joy, for such a great informative class. I definitely learned a lot. And like everybody said, I have been following you for quite some time. So I am starting a bartending mobile service. So I was wondering, I know you mentioned about Stripe, Square, and Clover. So when it comes to my clients sending me payments, because I started having them do deposit, so where they could mark their dates, so I know exactly what dates they need to be booking me for. I would have to get rid of Zelle completely, correct?
We should not be doing Zelle. We should be having everything through a point of sale system.
Nothing. Can you do me?
Hold up. Who that? Everybody make sure they on mute, respectfully. All right, thank you.
So you should be sending them an invoice through Stripe, Clover, whoever you're using for whatever is the security deposit to secure the date. Everything needs to be going through a point of sale system. So just think of Walmart. Can you Zelle Walmart a payment?
No.
Okay, so then they are not going to Zelle you a payment either.
Okay, got it. And for the bank accounts, because I was in and out, so I know you mentioned about income, how many bank accounts we're supposed to have. I think it was income, expenses, taxes, and payroll.
Correct.
Okay, got it. And for the LLC, because I have two other LLCs, I know Ramon just mentioned about having different phone numbers. We have to have different addresses too as well, correct?
You don't have to have a different address because you can have businesses at the same address.
Okay, got it. Mm-hmm. And if I'm doing only work in New York, I guess my LLC will have to be created in New York as well, correct?
It doesn't have to be created in New York. It'll be simple. It'll be simplest if you create it in New York. If you created it elsewhere, you're going to then have to file that out-of-state LLC as a foreign LLC in New York. So now we got to keep two LLCs active. We got to file two reports. It's just more paperwork.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I definitely appreciate the information.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect. All right, Maurice.
How y'all doing? Mogul, we gonna need you to get off the screen. We need the queen to get back to full screen so we can see.
I'm ugly, huh? I'm out here. Man. I'm out.
Now my question is, for the registered agent, I keep seeing this go around. Now, can my registered agent be my 16-year-old son?
No, they have to be 18 years or older.
Okay. I have a client that's asking me because we started the business setup. Now he wants to do his LLC with his wife. He's wondering if he has to do a joint venture with his spouse.
No, if he's doing an LLC with his wife, it would just have two members. A member is the owner of an LLC, so there will just be two members of the LLC, him and his wife, so they will own the LLC together.
Okay. With the okay, this is my question personally now. I own a building, a commercial building. I originally wanted to do a daycare. Ultimate Kids Academy. That's the name that the business is under. Now that hearing you, I'm thinking I did that wrong. I was supposed to put it under Davidson Enterprise, and the daycare itself was under Ultimate Kids Academy. Am I correct?
No, the LLC can be in Ultimate Kids Academy. Daycare is not considered a high-risk industry. So Ultimate Kids Academy is fine for the LLC name.
Okay. So now, not doing that business in that building, and I want to rent that building out now, I form another LLC in order to collect rent.
No, who formed the LLC? Did you hire someone or you formed it yourself?
I did myself.
Okay, do you recall what you put for the purpose of the LLC? Did you just put any lawful purpose?
Daycare.
Okay. Well, then you can do an amendment. You can change the name. I don't know what state you're in. Some states will allow you to change the purpose of an LLC. If you can change the purpose and just change the name and the purpose. But moving forward, if you form an LLC, it's best to just put any lawful purpose that the state of whatever you're in allow. So it's just a generic reason as to why you have an LLC. So if you do want to change it, all you got to do is do an amendment and change the name. So go to your Secretary of State and pull up the amendment form and see if it allows you to change the name and then the purpose of the LLC.
So when I change the name, say for instance, change the name Davidson Enterprise.